Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of WTWO's Beyond the Stands. Of course, I'm your host, Rick Semmler. We've been doing this for 5 months now, and some exciting news for this podcast. We've always had it on mywabashvalley.com, but starting today and moving forward with Beyond the Stands, they will now be on Spotify. How exciting is that? Another avenue to check out Beyond the Stands. Again, we'll still have it on www.mywabashvalley.com, but we'll also be putting Beyond the Stands on Spotify. Very exciting for Beyond the Stands. We want to grow it for the viewers and give everybody a chance to catch it. Now, joining me today is someone that, I'll be honest, makes me feel old. I covered him as a player, now covering him as a coach and covering his team. He is the man, the myth, the legend from Brazil. I'm talking about Northview girls basketball coach Zack Keyes. Zack, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Really excited about our season so far, so excited for this opportunity.
Now, we got a lot to talk about his Northview girls basketball team. They're playing unbelievable, setting records. I got to start, first of all, credit to you. You went out and scheduled a big time for you guys. You have your WIC, but you did something a little different this year. You scheduled some 4A teams in both the Bloomington North, the Bloomington South, a very good Borden team, Washington, who's in the top 5 in the state, and 3A. You mixed up your schedule. A lot of people, they would love to go unbeaten in a season. You might be able to do that if you didn't go out and schedule all these teams. Why did you go out and make your schedule so hard, especially early in the season?
Yeah, that was a coaching decision early in the summer, actually, last summer. We sat down and said, look, we feel like we have a good basketball team and we want to go play some good teams. A lot of people don't know we also scrimmaged Lawrence Central, added them in the fall. But just to make sure our kids were ready for this, for February, obviously. Playing those good teams we felt like would get us battle tested and get us ready for sectional play. And here we are, and hopefully that made a difference.
You speak of that ready for sectional play. So many coaches, some coaches care about just getting wins and racking up the wins. You're not like that. I mean, most teams are measured how you do in the postseason. You made the schedule tougher to have postseason success. Do you think the girls like doing this and you like doing this?
Yeah, I thought the girls would like it. We started off 4-6, and I'll be honest, there was a little discouragement in that locker room. We had a heart-to-heart, after getting beat by Sullivan in early December, and really showed the kids some film and an understanding of, look, you're playing really, really good basketball teams, but we had been losing, and I think that it hurt our confidence, obviously. But just making sure they understood that we were playing really, really good basketball teams. And coming out of that talk on that Saturday morning, our kids really responded. And a lot of them said, "Hey, look, Coach, we really feel like we can run the table here." And our leadership from the top with Clark and Reagan White and Carly Schrader have guided us here this last couple months, and we won 13 in a row since that moment.
Coach speaks of winning 13 in a row. How about this? Not only have they won 13 in a row, that's a program record, 13 straight wins. Never been done in the Northview girls basketball program. Northview's had tremendous success in girls basketball. So to have the longest winning streak in program history, I know it doesn't mean anything towards winning a sectional, but it does mean something to set program records. How special is that to accomplish that?
Yeah, it's very cool. It's great for our kids, but we want to make sure it's 16 in a row. Otherwise, like you said, it really doesn't matter. The sectional is the most important thing. We were excited about winning WIC. We were excited about winning the State Farm Classic, but obviously that sectional is the most important thing for our kids.
You speak of that, winning the WIC. I know coming into every season, team lists goals, and I'm sure winning the WIC was important to you. What does winning conference for your program mean?
We haven't won it in a long time. That's actually the first time we've won it in, 10, 15 years. So it says we need to do a better job, I guess. But no, our kids were excited. Like I said, we set that as a goal early in the season to win that tournament and to win WIC and to do some things in the tournament. So obviously accomplishing that gives our kids more confidence for next week. But yeah, our kids were excited, but their focus is next week for sure.
Got to take a second and thank our sponsors of the show, Crow Equipment Incorporated and Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, your 2018 American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, building a higher standard award winner for quality and reliability you can depend on. Call Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, 765-832-9401. We've been talking a lot about sectionals. Crazy to think that the regular season is about over. I feel like it flies every season. But we got sectionals next week. You speak about wanting 3 more wins. You open with Edgewood. Not putting a bullseye on you, but you guys will be the favorite going into sectionals. How do you feel your team will handle that?
I think they'll handle it well. Our kids have understanding of that, and we've talked about it really all year long in all of our big games. We said, look, we wanted to create sectional atmospheres throughout the season, and that's why we scheduled those games early on to give them the opportunity to play in a sectional-like atmosphere. So our kids are ready. They understand they're the favorite. We're hosting it, so obviously I think that's important for our kids as well. Sectionals, there's always those nerves, especially when you go on the road and you show up to the gym and it's quiet in there. But there's something about having it at home that gives you a little bit of comfortability there. So I think our kids are definitely ready.
You said it's been a while since you won the WIC. I was looking the other day. It's hard to believe it, 2019, the last time that Northview won a girls section. I feel like you've done it before then, but you hadn't done it. So you got a little bit of a sectional drought. What would it mean for your program to end that sectional drought and bring home a sectional championship this year?
Yeah, it's big. Our kids are hungry. Obviously, it's been a little while. We had to deal with Indian Creek there for a few years, which made it tough. But yeah, I think winning sectionals is obviously every coach's ultimate goal. So our kids are hungry for that, and they want to get that done, and hopefully we can do it.
Not moving past it, because I know coach speak, you'll say one game at a time. But do you feel if you can make a run in sectionals and win sectionals, that you have a team that after the schedule you did and the talent you have on your roster could make some noise in the state tournament?
Yeah, absolutely. We've played some of the better teams in the state already. Washington being one of those teams. Early in the season, they were ranked number 2 in the state right now, and we gave them a really good battle for 4 quarters. I think that game, leaving that night, our coaching staff and our kids really believed that we can compete with anybody in the state. But as you know, and all coaches know, you can also lose to anybody in the state at any time. So like you said, we'll have to take this one game at a time, start next week against a really good Edgewood team.
One of the things I like about your team, and you keep saying team, you have some great individual talent. There's no doubt about that. But I feel like you are a team. It seems like every game somebody different steps up, and you guys are tough to guard and tough to defend because you got so many different players. Do you feel that you guys are, I don't want to say a complete team, but you got a lot of pieces to your team? Yeah,
I say this all the time to people. God has really, really blessed me over the years. I'm very aware that He has blessed me with great players and great opportunity. So I'm very thankful to Him. But yeah, we have a lot of pieces right now, and sometimes that's good and bad. But our kids really gel well together. We have a very, very family-oriented basketball team that cares about the person next to them just as much as they do about winning. And I think it's very important to have that if you're going to have success. And we've had success in the past, and a large part of it is because of that family environment that we've created at Northview. And I think that bodes well for sectional time next week.
Now, ironically, I talk about you being a team, but you got some great individual talent. I got to start with Brindley, just an incredible career she's had, 1,000-point score. Talk about how good of a player is she, and what a pleasure she's been to coach for you.
Yeah, just a great kid, first and foremost. Team first kid, great leader. But, yeah, an outstanding athlete that's really developed into one of the best players we've had at Northview. She's a leader. She's a super talented kid. But like I said, she puts the team first on a nightly basis and gives her team, everything she's got every single night. And she's been a kid that we've leaned very heavy on the last few years, and that she's been willing to take that role and really run with it.
Brindley Clark, very talented. Another player, Reagan White. She didn't always put up like the monster scoring thing, but man, does she play few play point guard better than she does and run the show. What does Reagan mean to your ball club?
Yeah, Reagan White is the reason why we can beat anybody in the state, because of her ability to control the basketball. All coaches will say, having a point guard is so important if you want to be successful. And Reagan White gives us that. Her ability to just control pace and not turn it over and get us in our stuff and execute those things. It's really the reason why we've been successful so far this year. She does just an excellent job of just keeping us grounded and making sure that we get in our stuff on a nightly basis.
One of the things I remember from her is last year you played Indian Creek and they had the girl going to IU who was like 6'3", 6'4", and you put her in to do the opening tip, and Reagan's what, like 5'4", 5'5"?
Yeah. Yeah, she got the tip that night. It was technically illegal, but the officials didn't catch it. But yeah, that was a fun night.
Look at you trying to pull stuff over. Well, another player I got to ask about, a young, tremendous, talented player, Carly Schrader. You played her as a freshman, which is, saying something at the 3A level, and she's backed it up, hit game winners for you, scores a lot. The future of your program is with her. There's no doubt. We talked about the other two, but she's the future of your program. She is tremendously talented. Just talk about her upside.
Yeah, we as coaches, we sit around and just talk about how fearless she is. I think that's what makes her a great player. She just, plays the game with such passion and aggression. Her willingness to, attack the rim, sometimes even with 2 or 3 people on her, is what makes her great. She, is the type of kid that, in warm-ups, she kind of goes through the motions a little bit. In practice, we tease her all the time because she goes through the motions a little bit. But when the lights come on, she is one of the best players in the state, in my opinion, especially in that sophomore class. She's an excellent scorer. She's a pesky defender, and she does a lot for this team and has really elevated her game this sophomore year.
I want to thank our sponsors again of the show. We got Crow Equipment Incorporated and Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning. Now, your name, people know you. You were a tremendous basketball player at Northview. How much did your playing days help you be the coach that you are now?
Oh, man. I think, it goes back to what I said earlier, being, God blessing me. He blessed me and put me around some of the, the greatest people I feel like that walk this earth, and Coach Lancaster and Coach Trout and, our AD now, Scott Buell. I learned a lot from them, growing up early and 17, 18 years old, and just being around those guys and learning from them. A lot of the stuff that we do today is from those guys. A lot of those sets, a lot of the defensive strategies, a lot of that stems from Mitch Lancaster and the atmosphere that he created for us on the boys' side. But just being around them really, really shaped me to who I am today. I have a great coaching staff right now, a lot of great guys that surround us, and we're a very, team-oriented group. I have a lot of respect for my coaches and former coaches. We wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't have the coaches that we have in that room, and then also, the Mitch Lancasters and the Scott Buells and all the coaches that really helped mold me, 15, 20 years ago.
I got to say, you do make me feel old. I mentioned at the start, I covered your career now, but I covered your playing career. I got here in 2003, and you and Logan Whitman and Josh Tim, I've mentioned you guys before. Man, you guys were so fun to cover. I remember back then, you guys played in the Hall of Fame Classic, played Lawrence North, who had Mike Conley and Greg Oden, both made it to the NBA. You had some serious battle with A.J. Graves and WRV. But maybe the thing I remember most was you guys winning that sectional championship. Finally, Northview just couldn't get it done. You finally got that sectional championship. You won a regional game, stuff that hadn't been done. Talk about that run back then and how special it was.
Yeah, extremely special, and those guys are still special today. We're all still in a group message, and we talk on a weekly basis. So obviously, I think being in those moments back then, it really has helped me as a coach and an understanding of relationship and team, and that basketball is really, really fun and it's important and all, but the relationships you create with the people around you is way, way more important. And keeping those relationships throughout time. Is what you're going to lean on later in life. But yeah, no, winning that sectional was huge. I mean, obviously, it's shown me now that how hard it is to win, because we had really good basketball teams for 3 years there, and we were only able to get one sectional because it's tough. They're just tough to win. But pulling through that senior year and getting that for Coach Lancaster meant a lot for those guys. And like I said, it's something we still talk about, to this day in group messages and with Coach, and something I want our girls to experience here as well, because those are special moments that you remember even when you get older.
I look back at that time, and you think about it. I mentioned Greg Oden, Mike Conley, A.J. Graves, that was so good at WRV, went to Butler, Armand Bassett at South. I mean, and the Maherns were starting to come up through Rockville. Like, you faced some tremendous players back then. How fun was that?
It was fun, man. It was a grind every night. It felt like, especially with the Terre Haute schools. I mean, there was so much talent with the Blanks and with Armand and Chad Talpis and just a lot of really good players. AJ was special. We played at WRV in that
I wasn't
going to
mention
Classic.
that.
I think he went for like 40.
47. He said, I was at that Hall of Fame tournament that day, covering you guys. I didn't want to mention it to bring up bad memories. He scored 47 and at the time was a single game record in that tournament, but I'll give you guys credit because back in February, after giving up 47, I believe you held him to 15.
It was 11, I think.
11.
Yeah.
And you beat WRV the second time.
And that was Coach Lancaster and the staff there. We spent about 6 days preparing and making sure we had 1.5 on AJ for the entire 32 minutes. And we were able to slow him down. But, man, you want to talk about a heck of a player. But like you said, there were so many. Armand, man, just a really, really good basketball player. And we had a special group, too, and we were led by a lot of great men, which helped us be successful.
The rumor back then was, I remember, like I said, I was at the game, talked to Coach Lancaster afterwards, who I loved. I mean, just his fiery personality.
Yeah.
The rumor was, though, the next few days that the basketballs weren't touched at Northview, and there was a lot of defense back then.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, right. No, there was a focus, yes, for sure, on defense going forward, especially after the Hall of Fame game. Where we went 0-2. Mitch really turned it up on the defensive end there for a couple of weeks.
Now I gotta add one thing. I'll tell people I love that you do, seriously, and this is not because I consider you a friend and you're here. You're a great promoter of high school basketball and high school girls basketball. You do it all the time. I'll tweet out a player had this many points or a player is doing this, and you'll all the time put, yeah, she's phenomenal, or she's this and that, or you'll text me how great the player is. You promote the game, girls game, especially here. Why do you do that so much? Not just your program, the whole area.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love the game of basketball, and I think that it's important that we recognize all kids and give them, the respect that they deserve. There's a lot of talented kids around this area, and I enjoy watching them play basketball. And I think also, coaching's, I have a lot of fun coaching, and I love coaching players and I love coaching the games. But I think there's a bigger role there as a coach to make sure that we're creating great kids for the outside world as well. And I feel like my relationship with God has helped me, grounded me, and allowed me to just be a better coach and also be an advocate for girls athletics in general, and have an understanding that these kids are important, and it's good to get their name out there. And I don't know, just really, really enjoy the game of basketball, Rick. You know that.
Oh yeah, and I respect you for it. Like I said, you always promote your kid, your team, but you promote other girls as well, and it's a huge kudos to you. Sometimes some coaches, not faulting them, just want to promote their own people, but you promote everybody. So I really respect you for that. You talk about being God-oriented. We're both that way. It's been a tough week for both of us. We both lost a dear friend, and Tim Sarver. His daughter, Catherine Sarver, plays at Sullivan. She's a great junior point guard for the ball club. He was a huge promoter of high school basketball and girls basketball in the area. I know he was close with you. He was close with me. We our families went on trips together. Just what a tough loss that is for not only his family but for the area.
Yeah, hearts out to the Sarver family. Obviously, Catherine's a great kid. Great relationships with some of our kids. I know her and Reagan and Brenna were close. Just a tough loss to this community, and like I said earlier, it just speaks volumes to the importance of understanding that basketball is fun, but it's really just a game, and there's more to life, and it's so important to have that relationship with God to get you through these moments, and it's really helped me. I know it's helped our kids. Last night we were able to wear orange ribbons for our game, and just in honor of Tim, special guy. I only got to know him for 4 years, but in those 4 years. He really was a blessing to this community that I saw, and he's definitely going to be missed.
I agree. He was a dear friend of mine. We always went back and forth. He was a Boilermaker. So I'm not a Boilermaker. He loved it to give me a ribbing, a fun ribbing and this and that. But he was a great promoter of high school sports. So he's definitely missed. He just passed away recently to cancer. So very tough time for the Wabash Valley on that. Coach, sectionals next week. We wish you guys the best of luck and hope we get to cover you guys for a deep postseason run, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. Like I said earlier, though, one game at a time. We're really looking forward to next week, and I appreciate you having us on here today. Coach,
Northview head coach Zack Keyes joins me. I appreciate it. Again, special for Beyond the Stands. We've been having it on mywabashvalley.com. We'll also now be putting it on Spotify for you, the viewers. We hope you enjoy that. That does it for the latest WTWO edition of Beyond the Stands.